Everyone's favorite phone company, Blizzard, has just announced Diablo 2 Resurrected, and everyone is watching the trailers, hyping it up, determining how to change the Amazon's face, you know. In my few videos, I've tried to convey how little I'm liking modern Blizzard, and I'm just hoping that they're not going to give this the Warcraft 3 treatment and just open their pants on it. Because for me, Diablo 2 is the best ARPG ever created, and I know a lot of people hold the game in high regard. It has an addictive balance between character progression and difficulty, with gear upgrades feeling impactful, like they actually matter, something that is steadily being lost in the genre. Now, that's not to say there isn't a drove of bargain bin uniques, but sometimes the gear gives you that added edge, turning pretty bad builds into something extremely competitive. And between the battle of rune words and unique strength, rune words typically win out, but they're not as fun, so I'm doing top 10 uniques. I'm only picking 10 of these, but I had to narrow down my list several times over. My criteria for ranking these uniques is basically a combination of their strength and wide range of uses. If it's great for only Singer Barb, then I'm not putting it in. Conversely, if it's a staple unique for one of the most powerful builds in the game, then, well, yeah. Anyway, here's the top 10 best uniques in Diablo 2. Let's start out with a personal favorite, the Skin of the Viper Magi. This unique boasts basically every stat you could ever want, and while it's only an exceptional level unique, this is one of the best statted items in the game, giving resistances, skills, damage reduction, and is overall one of the very first pieces of gear that feels liberating, giving you an increase to your damage while also making you sturdier than a folding chair. Up next, we have a stunningly rare item which makes Chad poison builds viable. Death's Web is perhaps the most powerful one in the game, and I just had to include one poison-based item. Slap this onto a Necromancer or even maybe a Druid, and just watch the minimal damage become less minimal. Without this, you'll be hard-pressed to just torch screens with one click, but when you have Death's Web equipped, the Necromancer can swing with the best of the spellcasters. This is going to be a vanilla pick, so we don't have much to discuss. The Herald of Zacharum Paladin Shield boasts an incredible number of defensive stats, as well as offering +4 to combat skills, which is quite obviously nice. Overall, this is just a chunky item and is all around good for any build. It is limited to only Paladin, which kinda sucks, but everyone only plays like 3 classes anyways, so it's essentially good for 33% of all builds that exist. Moving on to items that you pretty much want 100% of the time on all builds is Titan's Revenge Ceremonial Javelin. This weapon takes the Amazon from being like the Virgin Bow to the Chad Spear, giving you just ridiculous power. It's got to be one of the most iconic weapons in the game, and for being such a screen-clearing clapper of an item, it gets to sit at 7. Back to an all-rounder unique, Arachnid Mesh is the best caster belt in the game. Offering skills and cast rate on a belt, this item is very nice. Basically good for all classes, you'll commonly see this on build guides and gear recommendations, and I would expect this to be one of the more sought-after uniques in the game. It won't drop, but that's just a minor inconvenience. Moving on to the actual best class, the Sorceress with Death's Fathom Dimensional Shard. This is just stupidly good. Like, look at it, I don't care if you've never played D2 before, check out that damage increase. Bigger is better, that's all you have to know. This is one of the best specialized unique weapons in the entire game. I'd happily put this at number 1 for its power alone, but it's restricted to pretty much one build. It happens to be probably the most popular build in the entire game for Magic Find, but regardless, this has to be a little lower on the list for its lack of versatility. Griffins Eye Diadem. Words that cause most Diablo 2 players to release dopamine straight into their bloodstreams. This item is just like Death's Fathom, except that it's not restricted to only Sorceress, helping out the Amazon as well. Truly one of the more iconic items in the game, Griffin's Eye is another contender for the strongest unique in terms of numbers, but due to its limited range of uses, it's getting hit down here. Sorry to all Javazon mains. I know this is practically your baby. We have to have a slight tie here, but it's for good reason. At number 3 we have the Stone of Jordan and Bol Kathos' Wedding Band. Both are basically the same thing, but are just built for different builds, those being general casters and general melee. These items are just nasty, just being staples for everyone. Feel free to run 2 of each. Hell, I'd wear a 3rd one over most gloves if I could, but sadly that is impossible. Coming in at number 2 is a small but sturdy amulet. You like resistance, you like skills, you like attributes, you know what? The 3 most important things, well damn, here you go. You get nothing else, but what else do you want? Again, while this item is definitely worse than some rare crafted amulets or some other uninteresting, stupid orange texted item, it's perfect for literally all builds. It's going to give you resistance freedom while also pumping your damage and making all your stats rise. The item I would consider to be the best is probably the worst looking. Harlequin Crest Shaco or Stupid Green Sackhead is a perfect item that I'd happily run on every character I ever made. The Shaco is not really the best in slot piece for most characters, but this item is so good all around, giving just about everything that I'd ever want, that I would have to consider it to be the best unique in Diablo 2. Well, that's the list. If you agreed with what I had to say, please feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you think. If you hated everything I said, go ahead and leave a comment as well, insulting my opinion and tell me where I went wrong. All in all, thanks for watching, and make sure to let me know if you ever find a Mang Song's lesson so I can block you from my channel, you lucky fuck!